At pick 7 in real life sit the Las Vegas Raiders. I had them trading up to pick 3, and you can see this on YouTube if you're watching. This Debo works the scroller there on the latest mock draft to swap out with the Cardinals. And here's the compensation just for mock draft fun. The Cardinals obviously get the 7th pick as they move down. They get the 39th pick, which is a second rounder, and then they get a 2024 second rounder, and Vegas gets to move up to 3. That's similar to the Darnold deal in 2018 where the Jets moved from 6 to 3. So you can quickly give me your comments on the trade parameters there. But more importantly, I want you to tell me why you don't think that the Raiders are looking for a quarterback in this draft.
Well, why would you think that they would go up and get that quarterback? And I understand the Derek Carr situation, but I was trying to understand what your reason is behind that. And I'm trying to look at the Las Vegas Raiders who have they're I won't call them a rebuild, but they have a lot of veterans on that roster. They went out and made a big trade to get Devontae Adams last year. They just extended Waller, I believe, during the season, their tight end. So it's a veteran group. And last year, if you looked at what they did in free agency, and I'm just going off of what I can recall when we were looking at all these rosters, they were very proactive getting a lot of veterans on that team. And it seems like Josh McDaniels, that's his personality. He wants to work with veterans. So I do not see this as, and I'm maybe wrong as well, and you may be right, and I may be apologizing to you after the draft, but I doubt it.
Yeah, you had to add that in there.
Of course. Why can't I be sarcastic? That's usually what But I do see them getting more aggressive going after a veteran quarterback because they're going to have all this money. If they make a trade, which I don't know if they'll be able to trade Derek Carr or not, because Derek Carr does have control over that with his no trade clause. But they're going to have enough money to go out and get a veteran quarterback to get with this veteran roster that they started to put together last year.
All right, well, let me ask the follow-up. Outside of Tom Brady, I mean, let me give you some names. Baker, Sam Darnold,
Nope.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G, possibly.
Okay.
He was with him up in New England, if I recall.
That's right. Daniel Jones, it sounds like the Giants want to keep him, but he will be a free agent. And then, I mean, Geno Smith sounds like he may return, but is he a huge upgrade over Derek Carr?
No.
So after that, you're running on fumes here. So
yeah, but I'm going to say, just trying to guess, is that they're going to go after someone who's familiar with that scheme, because you saw Derek Carr. I mean, what he did last year, and he struggled this year in that scheme because it seems like that may be a little bit more complicated than it is perceived to be on the outside looking in. But if you can get a guy like Stidham, who came in there and actually played halfway decent, I'm not saying he's the answer, but he was familiar with the system and was able to function a little more smoothly than maybe Derek Carr was this year. So if they're going to go get someone, I would bet they would hone in on, if Tom Brady wants to play again, they go get a Tom Brady, or they go get a Jimmy G, someone who's pretty familiar with that system.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Brady, Jimmy G, and then the only other potential player with experience in that offense would be Jacoby Brissett, who is also going to be a free agent and did fine in Cleveland given the circumstances. I don't know if he's an upgrade over Jarrett Stidham. Maybe he's the same as Derek Carr. I don't know. So we'll see. So Rick doesn't think a quarterback's going to be in the mix there. That's going to be interesting to watch. There will be plenty of other teams that are ready to make that happen.
I'm not saying, like I say, maybe a quarterback comes into play if they don't trade up. I just don't agree with them trading up. Because if they sit there at number 7, which is on the screen right now, okay, and I don't know, you have it all screwed up with all your trades, so it's hard to decipher what you put.
This one's right. This is the correct version on the screen.
Okay, so you got Houston, who definitely needs a quarterback. You got Indy, who definitely needs a quarterback. You got Vegas, who needs a quarterback.
You talked about Seattle possibly too.
I threw that out there just to create some conversation out there, depending on what they do with Geno Smith.
Right.
But Geno Smith's getting a little long in the tooth as well. And so maybe they do have someone that's developing behind them. So when Geno Smith, and I'm anticipating they do a shorter term deal with Geno Smith, whether that's maybe a potential 3-year deal, and then have someone behind him. But I think, honestly, that where Seattle is, that they're going to try to get an impact defensive player like a Tyree Wilson, who you don't like,
I love Tyree.
but
Just not as much
someone
as
who can have an immediate impact on their roster next year.
Yeah.